What's up, guys? Today on All Sports Center, we'll be going over one of the best teams in the Pac-12 last season. That was the Washington Huskies. How are they going to do in 2019, though? That is what we're going to be going over here today. This team's losing quite a bit of talent, including their quarterback and Jake Browning that they've had for several years, and he's done really well. He put up some insane stats last season. We'll go over those in a little bit. Jake Haener's likely going to take over at quarterback. He's been with this team last year, and it seems as if with his stats that he will take over, but things could still change quite a bit from here to August. They lose their top running back in Myles Gaskin. Something to note there. Their top wide receiver, though, Aaron Fuller, does return. So that is a good point for this team, is that they can return a couple of their main wide receivers. They did lose their major linebacker in Bert Curvin as well. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that one wrong. But yeah, so lots of tough losses for this team going into the 2019 season, especially on defense. I mean, it's not just the offense. Possibility of a Pac-12 championship return. It is going to be tough for this team for sure. I mean, that Pac-12 North is difficult. You got Washington State, you got this team, then you got Oregon, who's like all three of those teams are probably bind in for that shot at the Pac-12 championship. But the thing is, though, the Pac-12 South is so open. It's like if you're in the Pac-12 North and even make the Pac-12 championship, there's a good chance if you can make it past like Utah or some other team like that, that you'll be able to go to the Rose Bowl. So really, it's big stakes in the Pac-12 North for sure. Jake Browning's 2018 stats: 3,100 yards. That's a lot of yards right there. 16 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He didn't have the best touchdown interception ratio for sure, but still the 3,100 yards really does make up for that. Myles Gaskin, they're losing him. He had 1,300 total yards last season. He was a 1,000+ yard rusher, almost 1,400 yard rusher, and those are rare. 13 touchdowns. Aaron Fuller had 874 reception yards and 4 touchdowns. They're returning him, so that is excellent. He's probably going to be their best wide receiver once again this season if he can stay healthy. That's pretty much a given there. Yeah, they're losing a lot of talent for sure going into this 2019 season. Washington State is the same way though, and Oregon's on the rise, so it's tough to say who's going to win the Pac-12 North this season, but I think it's going to end up being Oregon. I mean, both the Washington teams just are losing too much talent going into this year. Start off the season for Washington, you got Eastern Washington, so I think they're going to win that one, but it'll be a tougher one just because, I mean, this Eastern Washington team, I mean, they did pretty well last season for the games that they played. And then you got California, you got Hawaii. Both of those games will be easier wins, I believe, since they're both at home. BYU, USC, you got BYU on the road, and I think this is going to be a closer one. That USC game will be another win. So they're going to be 5-0 going into Stanford. They're going to lose that one. I think Stanford, I mean, I'm not really expecting a whole lot from them, but mainly just because it's on the road, and it's a decent shot to lose there. Arizona then on the road, I think they're going to get a win. Oregon and Utah then, you got those two big games over the next couple of weeks. I mean, you could favor them just because they're at home and stuff, and I mean, Washington's a semi-tough place to play. I'd say, though, I think both of those games are going to be losses just because both of those teams will likely have a lot at stake in this part of the season, especially for Utah. I mean, they've got a really good shot to win that Pac-12 South, and they want that opportunity, so they're going to go for it, and they got to beat Washington to get there. But, yeah, and then you got Oregon at home. I mean, as much as Washington is going to want to win that game, I don't see it happening. Oregon State and Colorado, you could see an upset in there, but I think they're going to get both of those wins just because, I mean, you got a bye week in the middle of that, so that's good at least. You got Washington State to finish off the season at home. I'm giving them a win there, mainly because they're at home, and that Washington State's going to be coming off of a tougher stretch there in that November. So Washington, I'm expecting to go 9-3 next season. They'll make it to a decent bowl game, I guess. It's not going to be the Rose Bowl, and it's not going to be the Pac-12 championship, but they're going to be able to get to 9-3, so that's overall a pretty good record for a team as well. So let me know your guys' thoughts on Washington in the comments below. For sure, should be an interesting team, kind of like a wild card up in there in that Pac-12, the Pac-12 North. Then you got, I'd say, your 4 major games for Washington next season. You got Stanford, Oregon, Utah, and Washington State. Not much of a surprise there, mainly because 3 of those games I'm expecting to be losses. If you can win one of those 3, that would be excellent, because then you can pretty much clinch that 9-3 position, even if you take a loss or an upset somewhere in that schedule. So, yeah, once again, thanks guys all for watching. More college football previews coming over the next few weeks. We're just getting started, so be sure to stay tuned for more from All Sports Central.